So after repainting the Hasbro Retro Green Goblin comes the difficult task of choosing which Green Goblin am I gonna keep for my collection. And usually, for the most part, I side with Hasbro, but I gotta say, the Toy Biz Marvel Legends, I think it's Wave 4 Green Goblin, is one of the absolute best figures Toy Biz ever made. Look at this head. It's absolutely fantastic. Sculpt work, really good. Even these horrible looking ball joint hips aren't even that bad. They're pretty... I mean, you can still see the cut, obviously, but they're still somewhat seamless. I much prefer this design, though. Gripes I have with this figure, I guess. The hands are very oversized, as you can see. Also, they look a bit daft with this joint right here. Pinholes here, and the pumpkin bomb is glued to the hand for some reason. I mean, you could remove it, just heat it up and then pry it off, I guess. The legs are a little bit too lanky, I feel. They're also a bit weird anatomically. Like, I mean, I'm not really an expert on anatomy, but these muscles here look very... I don't know, they look like they bulge out a little bit too much. Like, that does not look like a leg to me. Especially not for how skinny these legs are. And I guess the feet are a little bit oversized, but then they're also supposed to be this sort of clown feet, so I think they're good there. Articulation, really good too. Like I said, it's actually sort of a ratchet joint here instead of just joints that get loose really quick like Marvel Legends in the old days tended to become. Yeah, overall, just like a really, really solid figure. I did clean up the teeth, like, I think like 2 years ago. But I don't know if you can even see yeah, you can probably see a difference. I gave them a wash and then I highlighted them. You can refer to the video where I paint this one up. You can sort of, I don't know if you can see, but anyway, they have the same technique applied to them. Now, looking at this one, this is obviously a custom. I did a customizing live video where I painted this guy's eyes up and his teeth, and you know, I really, really like how this turned out. Just in they're both very similar looking, yet still very different. Like, this one's face is a lot thinner. This one is quite wide, as you can see in comparison at least. This is marketed as a Spider-Man the Animated Series Green Goblin, but it's actually quite clearly inspired by Alex Ross's artwork. You might have seen his artwork in the beginning of Spider-Man 2 in the opening credit sequence, or you might have seen his very famous portraits of Harley Quinn and Joker dancing. Absolutely fantastic artist, but you can see that the chin, these wrinkles match up perfectly, and it would be a dead-on ringer if the eyes were transparent, like the yellow were just lenses and there were human eyes behind it. Then it would be 100% Alex Ross. The colors are quite animated series looking though, and having them next to each other, it does look a little bit goofy, but at the same time I sort of love it. I've been contemplating for a while now to give the scales here some like a paint wash to darken them up a little bit, but at the same time, yeah, I really like this almost candy neon green they have going on. It just really pops, you know. Like, this one is a bit more muted and dark and gritty and serious, but I don't know, this one is a statement and this one is just cool, if that makes sense. As for articulation, this one doesn't have any tilt at all because it's not a ball joint. It's just a swivel and a neck hinge that goes up like that and down all the way. Also, the joints on this guy are still really stiff. Shoulders 90 degrees up, well, out. Double jointed elbows, swivels here, and then these sort of ugly hinges. Like, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with these. Like, that doesn't... I guess he can hold something, but it looks a bit unnatural because just of how clunky this joint is. That's the issue I have with a lot of Toy Biz figures in general. They sacrifice proportions for really unnecessary articulation. And then, like I said, pumpkin bomb, glued, don't like. He's got a waist swivel, really stiff still. And then, like I showed earlier, he's got 90 degrees out. 90 degrees out on the side. Swivel. pretty well camouflaged still. Double jointed knees. And I do believe he's got a... yeah, he's got a swivel here in the boots. Toe hinge. And then the foot goes forward and back. But there is no ankle pivot. And... actually, no, there is no ankle pivot. Which is one of the most important pieces of articulation there are. Because what's the point of being able to do this if your figure can't even stand straight? Like... yeah, that doesn't work. This one, on the other hand, has a ball joint, so he's got a little bit of a tilt. And he's also got this hinge that goes up and down. Slightly less than 90 on the arms there. I mean, I guess you can... no, you can't really... you can cheat it a little bit if you turn the shoulder ball. Swivel here, double jointed elbow, that doesn't... slightly more than 90, but not very much at all. Then a waist twist, typical Hasbro Legends hips. The Toybus one goes out way more. And the swivel here, double jointed knees, about the same as Hasbro. It's got a swivel here in the boot, up and down, and I know I said that reverse. And then he's got the ankle pivot so he can actually get some low poses going. So yeah, here they are in about the same pose. This one, Hasbro's, is just so much more stable than this mess because it doesn't have that ankle pivot. Yeah, as you can see, a lot more stable. And especially post, this guy just looks so good. The somewhat limited neck of this one really quite hurts it, I feel. It's just not as expressive as the Hasbro figure. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still an absolutely beautiful figure, but I think Hasbro edges him out a little bit. The thing is, the head on this guy is so good. He was sculpted by the Four Horsemen, who you might have heard of if you're part of this community. Anyway, just amazing, flat out, incredible job. And here they are with both their bags swapped, because I'm pretty sure someone out there is interested in seeing what that looks like. Slightly unrelated is, this figure actually came with a Norman Osborn head, which was pretty good looking, but I decided to repaint it anyway. And this is how that turned out. I painted in these... Norman in the comics has a really weird haircut. He's got these black stripes going through his hair. I don't really know what that's supposed to be, or if there's some sort of hidden meaning behind it, but I think Harry has it too in the comics. And redid his eyes because they were bleeding over, and they were a little bit looking off to the side earlier, so I fixed that up. And then I shaded the wrinkles with some Reichland flesh shade, and I painted the lips. I randomly stumbled onto this exact piece of artwork that I'm pretty sure this head is based on, because look at that expression. I wonder what the process is like when they pick expressions like this. And finally, just as a bit of fan service, here he is with some other goblins in my collection. So, left to right, Toybus Marvel Legends Series 13 Green Goblin. Customized Hasbro Retro Wave Green Goblin. Customized Hasbro Hobgoblin with the Toybus head and cape. And the Toybus movie Green Goblin. I know some people really don't like the whole Power Rangers design of the movie version, but I actually really dig this look. Also, Willem Dafoe is flawless in that role. I do wish with Hasbro redoing the X-Men figures from the Fox era that maybe they can do a Sony wave, so we can get a Tobey Maguire Marvel Legends Spider-Man update and maybe a Green Goblin update too, because this one is a little bit skinny and lanky, and I wish the torso had a little bit more movement. But yeah, anyway, in the end, this video is about which one I'm going to keep between these two, because I thought it was going to be an easy, I'm going to sell this one, but I don't know, it's just really pretty. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.
I can't.
You can! You must!
Let me out, Norman.